Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into a genuinely fascinating 2023 research paper from the journal Food and Function. It's one of those studies that takes something we literally do every single day and just completely turns it on its head. If you're someone who actively tries to optimize your nutrition, what we're about to look at might just change your morning routine forever. Think about your typical morning smoothie. We so often throw a banana into the blender, right? Because it adds that perfect creamy texture and that nice sweet flavor. We tend to think of it as the ultimate healthy choice, a really great base for berries, spinach, or maybe some cocoa powder. But what if science actually says otherwise? What if the simple act of blending that banana is secretly sabotaging the very nutrients you're trying so hard to consume? Okay, let's dive right into this and set the stage with the good guys of our dietary story in Section 1, the Morning Smoothie Paradox. So our story really revolves around a specific group of dietary bioactives called flavonthiols. These are compounds found in a variety of fruits and veggies, and there's a growing body of evidence linking them to some pretty significant cardiovascular and cognitive health benefits. They're so incredibly important, actually, that the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics recently put out a recommendation to consume 400 to 600 milligrams of flavonthiols every single day for cardiometabolic protection. You're going to find these fantastic little nutrients in everyday foods like apples, pears, mixed berries, and cocoa. So naturally, tossing these into a blender seems like the absolute perfect, most efficient way to hit that daily target, doesn't it? Well, that brings us right to Section 2, the PPO problem. Because as you'll see, when we blend certain fruits together, we actually inadvertently unleash a pretty powerful nutrient thief. The culprit here is an enzyme called polyphenol-oxidase, or PPO for short. Now, you're actually probably already super familiar with PPO. Have you ever sliced an apple or peeled a banana, left it sitting on the kitchen counter and watched it turn brown? Well, that browning is PPO in action. But here's the kicker. PPO doesn't just change the color of your fruit. When the cellular structure of a fruit is crushed, like, say, in a spinning blender, PPO is released, and it basically acts like a hungry little Pac-Man. It rapidly seeks out and oxidizes dietary polyphenols, practically eating up all those great flavonthiols before your body ever even has a chance to absorb them. To put this into perspective, researchers analyzed the PPO activity across 18 different common fruits and vegetables. They found that blueberries and strawberries have incredibly low PPO activity. We're talking just 12 and 18 units, respectively. Apples are moderately high at about 570, but the banana? No way. At 3,258 units, the banana has over 180 times the PPO activity of a strawberry. It is an absolute powerhouse of this flavonol-3-ol destroying enzyme. And this massive difference led researchers to design a really fascinating experiment, bringing us to Section 3, the human digestion trial. Because they needed to see exactly what happens inside the human body when we drink these different smoothie combinations. To really test this out, the team conducted a highly controlled, single-blinded crossover clinical trial with healthy male volunteers. First, participants were placed on a strict low-flavonthriol diet just to clear their systems out. Then, on different days, they consumed a standardized, exact amount of flavonthiols in 3 totally different formats. Step 1 was a control, just swallowing a basic capsule of flavonthiols. Step 2, consuming those exact same flavonthiols mixed into a low-PPO berry smoothie. And step 3, getting them mixed into a high-PPO banana smoothie. After ingestion, the researchers diligently tracked the levels of flavonthriol metabolites in their blood over the next 6 hours. Okay, so the crucial point is right here. When participants took the capsule, their peak blood concentration of flavonthiols hit 680 nanomoles per liter. The mixed berry smoothie, it performed wonderfully, reaching practically the exact same level at 659. But the banana smoothie, it plummeted to just 96 nanomoles per liter. That means blending those valuable flavonthiols with a high PPO banana caused a staggering 84% drop in nutrient absorption compared to the capsule. The nutrients were physically in the cup, sure, but they essentially never made it into the bloodstream. And to understand just how fast this whole destruction process happens, the researchers ran tests in the lab on freshly prepared banana smoothies. Get this, they discovered that the half-life of flavonthiols in a banana smoothie sitting at room temperature is just 9.8 minutes. That means less than 10 minutes after you hit that blend button, half of those incredible cardiovascular nutrients are already destroyed. Literally, by the time you finish drinking it on your morning commute, they are practically gone. Which naturally brings us to a brilliant secondary question. Let's look at Section 4, the stomach effect. The researchers started wondering, okay, if the blender itself is the crime scene, what happens if we keep the banana and the flavanols totally separated until the very last possible second? So they set up a second study to test this out. Instead of blending everything together, they had participants alternate sips from two completely separate cups. Cup A had the flavonol drink, Cup B had a blended banana drink. Sip from A, sip from B. The whole idea was to effectively prevent the PPO from reacting with the flavanols while still in the glass. The absolute only place they would finally mix is inside the human stomach. But shockingly, even when keeping them perfectly separated before swallowing, the systemic absorption still dropped by a highly significant 37%. This proved something huge. The PPO enzyme from the banana doesn't just clock out and stop working when you swallow it. It actively continues destroying your nutrients during the digestion process. Now, you might be thinking, wouldn't the harsh stomach acid just instantly destroy that enzyme? Well, not exactly. Researchers tested this under simulated gastric conditions, and let's break down what they found. First off, banana PPO remains 68% active even in a stomach-like environment. Second, when you actually eat a meal, your stomach acidity naturally buffers, keeping the pH hovering around 4 to 5 during those early stages of digestion, which happens to be a perfectly comfortable environment for PPO. And finally, bananas contain latent PPO, which might actually be activated by pepsin, a digestive enzyme that lives right in your stomach. Basically, the early stages of digestion provide a pretty perfect little environment for the banana's PPO to just keep right on attacking your nutrients. So, does this mean smoothies are banned forever? Absolutely not. Let's look at Section 5, Rebuilding Your Breakfast. To make sure you're actually getting those vital cardiometabolic benefits from your flavanols, you simply need to build your smoothies smartly, relying on low-PPO fruits. As we saw, mixed berries like strawberries, blueberries, and raspberries make for excellent bases. And hey, if you need a little extra sweetness, the researchers found that pineapples and oranges actually have zero detectable PPO activity. They are completely safe to blend right alongside your flavonol-rich foods like apples or cocoa powder. And as for the bananas, you definitely don't have to quit them. Just eat them on their own, or maybe save them for a totally different meal, safely far away from the times you're actively trying to absorb those precious polyphenols. As the study authors definitively concluded, the actual bioavailability of flavanols can be reduced substantially by the co-ingestion of high PPO containing products. You know, we put so much effort and money into buying healthy ingredients, but this research is such a great reminder that food preparation is literal chemistry. The way we combine our foods in our very own kitchens has a massive implication on whether our bodies actually get to use the nutrients we consume.
This whole explainer really shifts how we should think about meal prep, doesn't it? It's clearly not just about what's on your plate or in your cup, but how all those individual ingredients interact with one another. Which leaves us with a pretty fascinating thought to end on today. If simply blending a banana can alter nutrient absorption by a whopping 84%, what other everyday habits and food combinations might be secretly altering our nutrition right under our noses? Thank you so much for joining me for this dive into the science, and I'll catch you on the next explainer.